Unit 6, we do, I do review. So I'm going to go through the we do side, and then when I'm done, you guys are going to go through the I do side. So number 1 says simplify. So this skill that we learned was subtracting polynomials. Subtracting polynomials. And remember, when we're subtracting polynomials, we need to take this negative sign and we need to distribute it in. And what this does is it changes all the signs on that second parentheses. So I have negative x squared plus x minus 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x plus 2. That negative changed all the signs. Okay, then we need to combine like terms. So I have negative x squared and negative 3x squared. Remember, we're adding them now, so negative 1 plus negative 3 is negative 4x squared. And then I need to combine this 1x with this 8x, which becomes positive 9x. And then this negative 4 with a positive 2, which becomes negative 2. So that's our answer. Okay, number 2, the skill is adding polynomials. So remember, when we're adding them, we don't have to do anything with that positive sign. Just like on the negative one, we had to distribute. This one, we can just get rid of the parentheses instantly. So I have 7j cubed minus 2 plus 5j cubed minus j minus 3. So if I'm combining like terms, I have 7j cubed and 5j cubed. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12j cubed. And then I have this negative j all by itself, so I'm just going to bring it down, negative j. And then I have negative 2 plus negative 3, which gives me negative 5. So that's my answer. So remember, we're only combining like terms that have the same exponent. And we're not changing the exponent. We're only changing the coefficients, the number in front. Okay. Number 3, the skill is double distribution. So double distribution. And remember, in double distribution, we take the first term and we write it, so 4x. Then we take the second parentheses, 3x minus 5. Then we take the second term and then the parentheses again. Okay, so what we do is we break apart that first parentheses and we turn a double distribution into just single distributions. So for example, in this one, we're going to distribute 4x. In this one, we're going to distribute negative 3. Remember, distribute means to multiply. So 4x times 3x is 12x squared. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x. Negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Remember, we always add these middle terms because those are our like terms. So we get 12x squared minus 29x plus 15. That's our answer. Okay. Okay, looking at number 4, this is just a simple distribution problem. So that's the skill, distribution. So we're going to distribute that 5m squared into everything inside the parentheses. So 5m squared times 3m cubed is 15m to the 5th. We multiply the coefficients and we add the exponents. 5m squared times 5m is 25m to the 3rd. 5m squared minus 4m is negative 20m to the 3rd. 5m squared times 6 is positive 30m squared. So then we combine like terms. So those are the ones in the middle because they both have m cubed. So I have 15m to the 5th plus 5m cubed plus 30m squared. So that's my answer. Okay. Number 5, it wants us to find the perimeter and the area. So this is 2 skills right here. This is adding polynomials because of perimeter, and it's also double distribution because of finding the area. So let's add the polynomials first because we're finding the perimeter. So remember, perimeter means we add all the sides together. So perimeter is equal to x minus 7 plus x plus 8 plus x minus 7 plus x plus 8. Remember, this is also x plus 8 and this is also x minus 7. So we're adding all 4 sides together. Okay, now we're combining like terms. So p is equal to, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, 4x. And then I'm adding all the numbers. Negative 7 plus 8 is 1. 1 plus negative 7 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 8 is 2. So plus 2. So that's my answer for perimeter. Perimeter is equal to 4x plus 2. Okay, let's look at area. Area is double distribution, so we multiply. So area is equal to x minus 7 times x plus 8. Remember, we write the first term, x, then the second parentheses, x plus 8, then the second term, minus 7, and then x plus 8. And then we distribute the x inside and the negative 7 inside. So x times x is x squared. X times 8 is positive 8x. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times 8 is negative 56. We add the middle terms, so we get x squared plus x minus 56 is equal to the area. And that's our answer. So we found area and perimeter. Okay, let's look at number 6. Number 6 is a double distribution problem. And how I know it's a double distribution problem is, remember that 2 tells us to write it twice. So for example, this is 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. So we write the first term, 3x, then the second parentheses, 3x plus 5, then the second term, plus 5, and then 3x plus 5. So then I distribute the 3x, and I distribute the 5. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 5x is 15x. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 5 is 25. I add the middle terms. I get 9x squared plus 30x plus 25. That's my answer. Okay. Number 7. Number 7, the skill is factoring when a is greater than 1. So factor when a is greater than 1. Remember, when a is greater than 1, we need to first see if we can factor out a GCF. So GCF, the number that can go into all 3 of these numbers, would be 2. So I'm going to label my A, B, and C. My A is 8, my B is 22, and my C is negative 6. Since I found my GCF to be 2, I'm going to divide it all by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 22 divided by 2 is 11. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So I need to create my table by multiplying A times C. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. That adds to 11. So 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12 but add to 11 would be 12 times negative 1, because 12 plus negative 1 is 11. So right here. So then I'm going to rewrite my problem. Remember, using these terms over here, that's what I simplified them from. So 4x squared plus 12x minus x minus 3. Okay, put them in parentheses, factor out a GCF. What can go into both 4 and 12? That's going to be 4x. 4x squared divided by 4x is x. 12x divided by 4x is 3. And then I can take out a negative 1. Remember, my parentheses have to match, so x plus 3. So that means my answer is 4x minus 1 from these outside terms, and x plus 3. Okay. Let's look at number 8. So number 8 is when factoring when a is equal to 1. But we need to rewrite this so it looks like that. So I'm going to put my x squared first. So this becomes negative x squared plus 64. I switch the order. And then I'm dividing it by negative 1. And I get x squared minus 64. Oh, real quick, number 7, my GCF was 2. I need to put a 2 right here. Sorry, let's go back to 8. I always forget about that GCF in the beginning. So that means my GCF here is negative 1. Okay. So I'm looking at this equation here. There's two ways we could solve it. We could solve it by grouping, like we've been doing. Or if you notice that x squared is by itself with just a number, so that means b is missing, we could just take the square root of 64. So for example, the square root of 64 is 8. So that means our answer is x minus 8 and x plus 8. Because our goal is to get negative 64 but add to 0. And that's negative 8 times positive 8. These numbers here, which is the same as just taking the square root. This only works with these special cases. So if we have an x squared minus some number. So it has to look like this, x squared minus a number. That's the special case. And we talked about special cases in my class, but I just said that it was the same as just saying b is equal to 0. And then we rewrite the whole problem and we do factor by grouping. So either way will work. This way is just faster. Okay, let's look at number 9. Number 9 is very similar. Again, it's factoring when a is 1. So remember, if I have x squared minus a number, just like I have here, I can take the square root of that number. So the square root of 121 is equal to 11. So my answer is x minus 11, x plus 11. Because my goal was to find two numbers that multiply to negative 121 but add to 0, which is 11 times negative 11. So again, you could do this factor by grouping, or you can use the special case method and know that you just have to take the square root of c, that number. Okay, let's look at number 10. Number 10 is factoring when a is greater than 1. Factoring a greater than 1. Remember, our first step is to see if we can take out a GCF. We can't take out a GCF because we have a equal to 8, b equal to negative 2, and c equal to negative 3. There's no number that can divide into each of them, so I just start with my table. So I need a times c, so 8 times negative 3, which is negative 24, adds to b, which is negative 2. So two numbers that multiply to negative 24, but add to negative 2. Let's see, it would have to be negative 12 times 2. Because actually it wouldn't be that one because that would be negative 10. So it's not that one. Let's see, we have 8 and 3, that won't work. Let's see. Oh, negative 6 times 4. This one will work because negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. So then I have 8x squared plus 4x minus 6x minus 3. I do my parentheses, do my factors. The number that can go into 8 and 4 is 4x. 8x squared divided by 4x is 2x. 4x divided by 4x is 1. Here I can take out a negative 3. And then remember my parentheses have to match. 2x plus 1. So that means my answer is 4x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. Now remember my GCF, if I had one, would go in the front, but since I don't have a GCF, I'm leaving it like this. Okay, number 11. Okay, number 11, this is factoring when a is greater than 1. So what we need to do first is see if we can take out a GCF, but I don't think there's any numbers that can go into 16 and 9, so we're going to have to leave it like this. Or we can remember that this is also another special case. So if we have a number x squared minus a number, this is another special case. And remember, on the other special case, we took the square root of the last one. We're going to now take the square root of the first one. So square root of 16 is equal to 4. Square root of 9 is equal to 3. So that means we have 4x minus 3, 4x plus 3. That's our answer. 4 is from here, 3 is from here. Or you could do factor by grouping, find two numbers that multiply to a times c, so 16 times negative 9, but add to 0. Same thing. Both ways will work. Okay, let's look at number 12. Number 12 is factoring when a is equal to 1. So since a is equal to 1, we just start by labeling our a, b, and c. A is 1, b is 6, and c is 9. Remember, we multiply a times c, so 1 times 9, which is 9, and then 6 goes here. So two numbers that multiply to 9 but add to 6, that's going to be 3 times 3, because 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, then we're going to start rewriting this. So I have x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. Then I'm going to start grouping them. Okay, the number that can go into 1 and 3 is just 1, so x. X squared divided by x is x. 3x divided by x is plus 3. Numbers that can go into 3 and 9 is going to be 3. And remember, our parentheses have to match, so x plus 3. So that means my answer is x plus 3 and x plus 3. Or another way we could write this is x plus 3 squared, since there's two of them and they match. Okay. I think this is the last one. Yep, number 13. Number 13 is factoring when a is greater than 1. So factoring a is greater than 1. So we have a equal to 2, b equal to negative 10, and c equal to negative 28. Remember, our first step is to see if they have a GCF. It looks like the GCF they have in common is 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. And negative 28 divided by 2 is negative 14. So then I multiply a times c. So 1 times negative 14, which is negative 14. And then negative 5. So I need two numbers that multiply to negative 14 but add to negative 5. And that's going to be negative 7 times 2. Because negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. So GCF was 2. Okay, so I rewrite this. Remember, using these terms, these are my new ones. So 1x minus 7x plus 2x minus 14. And I group them. So from here I can take out an x and I'm left with, oops, I forgot that right there. I'm left with x minus 7. Then here I can take out a 2. And remember, my parentheses have to match, so x minus 7. So that means my answer is x plus 2 and x minus 7. Then since my GCF was 2, I'm going to put that 2 in the front. So that's my answer. Okay. So now you guys are going to work on the I do side. If you have any questions, you can come to my desk. Good luck. Our test is tomorrow.